episode number 10 of Be Positive with Bally. Episode 10, guys, my first milestone. Thank you, each and every one of you, for being here, for joining, and to my partners as well. Thank you so much for supporting me. I think without the viewers and my partners, this entire journey would have been impossible. Now, for this episode, for this first milestone of mine, episode 10, I was thinking, hey, I need to bring someone who has given a great impact in my life. So I figured, hey, why don't I call one of my mentors? I have 3 mentors, so I'm going to be revealing one of my mentors. And he is Managing Consultant of EQTD Consulting Malaysia and Executive Leadership Coach. He has a daily radio segment on Light Malaysia. He also writes weekly columns on the newspaper. Author of the national bestseller So You Want to Get Promoted. He also owned Malaysia's first stand-up comedy club, restaurant called Fire Grill, and a boutique hotel in Austria. I'm speaking about Shankar Santhiram. Let the dialogue begin. Hello, Shankar. Hi. Thank you so much for doing this.
Hello. Good evening. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's such a pleasure to be with one of my favorite coaches of all time, one of my favorite trainees who has attended a training program. You made an indelible imprint, Bally, in my life by being a wonderful, wonderful participant for 2 days, misbehaving most of the time, but just having lots of fun with the other 40 people that I coached and trained during a program maybe a couple of years ago now. Yes.
It's 2 years ago, but I must say that the imprint, the greater imprint or the greater effect is left by you, sir. I think
that's very kind. You're being very kind. You're being very kind.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said to the viewers before we get started. Before we got started, that I wanted to bring someone who has given me so much of impact, who brought so much of impact in my life, and it's you, sir. Thank you so much for doing this. And now,
thank you for allowing me. Thank you for allowing me into your life and to make a difference to you, because I think that's one of the most important things that people need to understand, that you need to allow others to help you.
Okay, so let's cut to the chase. You are executive coach, and at the same time you own the company. You write columns in the newspaper. You are you also come up to on radio shows called on the Light FM.
I have a daily radio segment on Light Malaysia.
So you have daily episodes on podcasts as well. You own Fire Grill, and you also first Malaysian comedy club as well.
Stand-up comedy club, dedicated stand-up comedy club. Yes, the Crack House Comedy Club. Yeah,
and a boutique hotel in Austria.
It's a partnership with my wife, that one. And plus, I also part own the clinic that my wife runs and manages, Asia Pose.
Right.
So about 5 or 6 companies. Yes.
So, Shankar, it's a big achievement. I mean, I think if I am in your position, I swear to God, I do not know how I'm going to do this as well. But
it's easy.
To describe your career in one word.
Always being relevant. That has always been my aim from the time I left school, Penang Preschool in Penang, from the time I came back from England with a law degree in 1993, from the time I moved away from legal practice to teaching law, and then to going into consulting work with EQTD Consulting, and then to do my corporate training and management consulting, to write my weekly columns before the New Straits Times, which I write for now. I was writing for the Malay Mail and a few other publications. Before I've been doing Light FM now for 2 years, Light Malaysia for 2 years every morning. Prior to that, I was on BFM, the business radio station, for 10 years from 2009. I've always made sure that everything that I do and everything that I get involved in has a sense of relevancy to me, and also to make my life more valuable. I realized that I need to add value to other people. That's also why I got involved with the Crack House Comedy Club some 6 years ago, because we are in the business of making people happy. My training programs, we're in the business of making people happy and giving them hope. In my restaurant, the Fire Grill, it is about making people happy. So essentially, I've done so many things, but all of them do the same thing, different iterations of the same principle, that I have always tried to live my life by, which is to be relevant and to be useful and to add value to people around me.
Well, if I could describe your career in one word, that would be rock star. But moving on to the next question.
You're just being too nice to me, Bally. Come on, stop that. I'm not a rock star. I'm an aging, old, bald Indian man. Look at me. You know what I mean?
No. The post you put, you put up so many posts on Facebook or Instagram, your daily activities with your family, with your wife, and I've seen you live in action in Fire Grill. And I must say, I think you could definitely give Gordon Ramsay a run for his money. But
just because I scream and shout in the kitchen because I want my people to produce good food, and the food that I create, that doesn't make me Gordon Ramsay is nowhere. I'm nowhere near Gordon Ramsay. Let's put it that way. Not even a tiny iota, because he's a chef. I'm not a chef. I'm a cook. I'm a hobby cook that took my interest in food to the next level, which is to share it with the people around me, and then to make it a business, because I'm a business consultant, and I've worked out over the years that, if I want to talk to people about business, if I want to talk to people about, people have asked me this question also: why do I own a restaurant, and why am I always in the restaurant, in the kitchen? Because if I stand up in any public forum or platform and talk about customer service, if I talk about effective leadership skills, if I talk about how to run your businesses with an eye on the ball, then I must be able to live that life as well and give an example to people. So that's why I started the restaurant, why I got involved in the restaurant business, to basically to test myself, and also to ensure that I can walk the talk. Because I think there are a lot of people out there who don't wish to be your show is called Be Positive, so I want to be positive. But that I think a lot of people around the world tend to talk a lot, but then they don't do those things. You have to walk the talk. So I always believe, long time ago, it's taught to me: first you must be, then you must do, then you must tell. A lot of people do a lot of telling, but they're not the person. They don't be first. So I think the restaurant, the hotel, the comedy club, my work, my training, my radio shows, it's all showing the people who might want to use me as an example or look at me as an inspiration that I am who I portray myself to be. I do all those things, and that's important.
Shankar, now you have an amazing career. Yeah, some might call it the ideal or perfect life. Now, is there something in the bucket list?
It's not.
Is there something in the bucket? No, come on, stop being so modest. You are.
No, it's not.
You are so many things, but come on, you always like to be so humble. Your humility is what I love the most.
No, yep. I want to make it very clear, because I think a lot of people look at my life. Firstly, what you see on Facebook and what you see on Instagram, I've told everyone that knows me, I use social media as a platform, just like you, to be positive. So I don't wash my dirty linen there. I have very little political ideology talks on my social, because I have opinions. I have very strong opinions about the politics of this country and the people who lead our country. I have difficulties with my wife, with my parents, with my businesses. I have all the difficulties that everybody else has as well. But I don't use the wrong platform to air those grievances. People tend to go on to Facebook and go on to Instagram and just write cryptic messages about somebody doing something bad to them. And I tell myself, what is the point of doing that? Because you're not going to get anything out of it except some sympathy. Oh my God, Marcha, who did what to you? Oh my God, darling, what happened to you? It's sympathy. It's nonsense, right? So when you look at my life and think that, it's all hunky-dory, it's not. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of trouble. It's a lot of ups and downs. And what you see is all the successes, all the kind of, somewhat successes that I have iterated myself, and I put that out with the restaurant and everything else that I do, with the radio show, the column, blah, 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 the TV shows and everything else. But behind all that seeming success is a whole load of failures. I have a load of bad stuff that's happened to me that I've had to come out.
Exactly. It's going to be leading on to my next question. Is there a bucket list which has some unchecked boxes, which you have things which you want to do, which you want to achieve?
It's funny. I've never sounds hokey, but I've never believed in a bucket list, simply because when I think I want to do something, I go and do it.
Yeah.
And I also think that it's pointless to have a list of 10 things that you want to achieve before you die,
Right.
because I think there is only one thing that I need to achieve before I die, which is to live, and to live well. And I want
Right.
to focus on that. So I take everything that comes along and say, yes, I want to do this, and I think I have the ability to do it, and I'll do it well. And then that becomes part of my, ooh, wow moment. No, look at me, I've achieved something. I've traveled extensively. I've traveled to pretty much wherever I've wanted to go to. I've seen many parts of the world that I have wanted to go to. There are still parts of the world that I'd like to go to, but I'm not fussed about going to those places because those things will happen when they happen. I'm a firm believer with that. I decided that I want to be in music at one point in my life, and I got involved in music, and I co-produced uh, a band and an album, and it sold out and did really well. And then I thought, I've done this, and this is great. I want to move on to something else. I had a boutique selling fabric from Italy, and I spent a lot of time going to Italy, to Milan, to source and learn about fabric and what sold in Southeast Asia. And I came in here and I set up a boutique in a very large complex in Kuala Lumpur, the Santhiram Pavilion. That was 10 years ago. I did that for 3 years. I liked it. I made a little bit of money, and I thought, no, I'm done. I want to move on to something else. So I don't have this bucket list. What I do is I look at something and go, oh, I'd like to do that.
So
And
is
then I
there
go,
anything which you like, oh, I like to do this? Like, is there something?
right now, I just like to, right now, I'd like to, uh, the world is changing.
Yeah.
And I look at the way I used to do my work in the past, and I have found new ways of doing my work over the last 3-4 months during the COVID-19 pandemic. I have pivoted to do other things, and I seem to like and enjoy what I do. I seem to like interfacing with people and interacting with people. I seem to like the fact that I have a weekly Facebook Live show, which I do, which sometimes gets to 2,000 or 3,000 people reach, and so a lot of
Right.
people. A lot of comments. A few weeks ago, I had a session with a very nice guest, and we had about 300 or 400 comments in that 1 hour while we were talking. It's nice. It's just, there's nothing right now that I look and say I want to do. I mean, whatever I want to do. It's funny because I don't think along those lines. I don't think like, oh, I'd like to do that. I just go like, oh, this is happening. Oh, look at that. That's nice. I think I'll do that for a while. And I like doing it, and I concentrate on doing it, and I do it well. And then when I go, I think I've achieved a certain level of competency with that, I move on to something else. I think life is a journey, and life must be
It's
fun.
true.
Yeah.
Okay, so life, a journey, must be fun, true.
Yep.
But I think what people really seek these days is, is there a route, or is there a secret passage, or is there a secret mantra on how to be successful? Because that's what people want to do. People want to do the greenback boogie. But how people can be successful? What would be your take in it?
Always be interested in adding value to other people. And that becomes the most important thing in everything that you do. Whatever you choose to do, whatever career path that you choose, whatever business path you choose, whatever path of arts or music or entertainment or anything that you choose, it doesn't matter. If you want to be an app provider, understand that you are an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is not someone who starts businesses. An entrepreneur is someone who provides solutions. So sit back and think about what kind of solution I'm providing, and then make sure that everything that you do, you add value. Because in every business and every job and every career that everyone has, there are ways of finding shortcuts and doing things to suit our needs. But right at the onset, you must start off thinking that, I'm in this and I want people to know me as the go-to person. Therefore, I must give tremendous value. And be compassionate to everybody around you. Be self-aware. Be comfortable in your own skin. I mean, if you're fat, don't go around moaning about the fact that you're fat. Lose weight. If you're thin, don't go around moaning about the fact that you are thin. If you're bald, like me, accept it with graciousness, and then you will find that your life becomes so much better because you are who you are. And therefore, you need to live that person that you are. And by the end of the day, no one else can actually change anything around you. No one else controls your life. No one else makes a difference in your life. So the secret to success is to not really be bothered about what people tell you. Do whatever you think is right. And then the secret of life also is to not have regrets. Don't spend all your time regretting things that you did do or didn't do, or that happened or this happened. Just move on, because understand that life is this constant, amazing journey. You keep doing it, and you keep being happy at what you do. If you fail, you take it as a learning lesson and go like, that didn't work. Right, let's do something else now. Let's go. And I find so many people have such great potential to achieve so many things in their life, but they don't, simply because they spend so much time pontificating, thinking, scratching their head, being depressed. If you are clinically depressed, right, and I'm not trivializing this, if you really have depression, you must go and seek help. You must see a psychiatrist. You must perhaps first see a psychologist and then go and see a psychiatrist and take medication.
Sure.
But if you haven't been diagnosed as being clinically depressed, don't use, I don't feel great, I'm a bit depressed, I don't know what to do with my life. All that's nonsense. Absolute nonsense. You know what I mean? There'll always be people who are better than you, and there will always be people who are worse off than you. Live your life with gratitude. Be success. I always say success is getting what you want, but realize that happiness and success cannot be equated together. Success is getting what you want. I want to drink. I drink right now. It's success. Done. Right? Am I happy with that drink? I don't know. Maybe I could have got a better drink. Maybe the glass is half full, not half empty. Maybe I should have had some alcohol in there right now because it's whatever time it is. I feel like having a drink instead of drinking a water with lemon. Happiness, on the other hand, is just being grateful for what you have. And I think the world is sorely missing on gratitude. And the more you are grateful, that's really the secret to life. The more you're grateful, the better things will become. And always remember what I say. Think about how you add value to people around you. Everything that you do. If you're a restaurateur, how do you add value? If you're an entertainer, like you, an MC, someone who stands and speaks in front of, how do I add value? If you're a writer, if you're a lawyer, if you're a doctor, if you're a road sweeper, whatever job you do, right? If you're a data analyst, how do I add value to others around me? And the moment you think and become like that and have that as your driving force, you'll be hugely successful in whatever you choose to do, because success is just getting what you want. And you will get what you want when you become the go-to person for people.
Now, I must say that, I had a list of questions, and I've segregated it into each areas. But whenever I'm asking you a question, you're already covering so many topics, and I'm thinking, okay, why am I going to go with? Which question should I go with? All right, so
next time send me the questions, and I will keep to my. If you don't send me the questions, Sherry, look, I speak for a living, which means I can speak for 2 hours right now.
No, I don't think it's going to be fair to do this for you, because if I give you the questions, it's not fair, because that's what I'm really truly inspired about, and that's the beauty about you, which I really love. That's why I call you one of my mentors. One of my greatest mentors are you. So I call that, and I really, really, truly acknowledge that. So now, Shankar, everybody has problems. With this whole pandemic, everybody are anxious, anxiety, everybody's stressed. Yeah. If you have problems, I'm sure you do on a daily basis.
Yep.
Right? In a quick fix, how do you tackle it? I'm sure you already devised the plan, because being able to help people with so many things. Like, for instance, I did not have goal. I did not have purposes, because I think probably it was disarrayed. Maybe it was not at that same location where it's supposed to be, but
not directed.
Not directed at all. When you gave me that whole direction, I was like, oh, purpose oriented, goal oriented. Yes,
right.
So that's what you taught me. But I'm sure you already have this whole device or this whole strategy. How do you tackle problems? Because I tackle problems differently. I want to know, how do you tackle problems, and how do you overcome that?
But purpose changes from time to time, right? You have an overarching, I don't know how you say that word, but an overarching purpose. And that for me is to be relevant, to add value to people. So I've always had that as my ultimate purpose. Now, from time to time, the purpose changes because of my age, as I change in terms of my needs and desires in life, as I do differently in business, my health, my own body changes, and different things happen to me along the way, my purpose becomes different. But I've always kept that as the core. The core strategy is to always be relevant and always have this thing about adding value to everyone else. How do I deal with problems? I'm weird. I do weird things to deal with problems. I take a break. I holiday a lot, and that helps me. which basically means I eject myself from everyday life and put some distance from me and the problem all the time. So when I say I holiday a lot, I mean, I'm not traveling. I don't have a lot of money to just go around the world and do all sorts of things, which sometimes people think I do. I've always done this even when I've earned very little money. I've just gone away. I just need to get away from where I am. I might go to the nearest small town. I might go back home to see my parents in Penang. I might do something and get away. And I have a very open relationship with my parents. I will go back to Penang, and sometimes they'll say, I'm not staying in the house. And they'll say, why? Why can't you, like proper Indian parents? You come from KL, you don't want to stay in my house, blah, blah, what is this? I said, look, dude, like my parents, like I need my own space now because I need a little bit of a break. So one thing I do is I just take some time off. I swim a lot. And that helps me because that being in water increases my buoyancy and just allows me to relax and calm down. And because I always think that nobody else can solve your problems, you can. I have a few friends who I talk with, who are my peers, people who are quite good at what they do. And I don't perhaps particularly talk about a problem, but sometimes I just am with them and they infuse me with energy. I've always been very careful about who I become friends with and who I spend time with. And because that's important for me, I only spend time with people who empower me, not people who, I do a lot of coaching and training, which means I have a lot of people who come to me for mentoring and for help and for direction. So it's quite draining sometimes. So when I have my own free time and spare time, I like to spend time with people that don't want anything from me, but just are. And I can tap into their resources. I do that. My wife is a very good conduit for me because I spend a lot of time talking to her. And we bounce ideas off each other. And often with my own personal problems, I'll always have a chat with her. Sometimes I disagree with her methods in terms of how she wants to solve a particular problem, but I do it. But I talk to her about that as well. So, I mean, I have all these little things that I do that help me personally. I don't have one formula. And also, I don't really think, I don't want to sound weird, but I don't really have a lot of problems. I don't get stuck by problems generally. I think problems are always around for everyone if you identify them as problems. I just look at things differently. Everything that comes to me which I'm not prepared for, I go, oh, this is new. How do I deal with this? And I kind of find it quite challenging. Challenging for myself that if I can resolve a particular issue that crops up or arises. So what others may think as being a problem for them, I actually think is an opportunity because every time a problem crops up, it leads to a greater opportunity in my life. So I tend to look at problems per se that perhaps others might label as problems as opportunities. So to be honest, I really don't know how to answer your question, Bally, because
no, I think I got the answer. Sir, I really got the answer. Okay, yes, I promise not to call you sir. Shankar, I got the answer. The answer is that you look problem differently. You don't get stressed out. You don't get stressed out. You actually have really a way of addressing it in a different way. And, you say, okay.
And one other thing is that I have learned through my own experiences with life, through my own health, through all the mishaps that have happened to me, from betrayal, from all sorts of other things, that no one else and nothing else can solve my problem.
There you go.
Sometimes if I have financial problems, I know who to go and speak to ask for a soft loan or to get some financial advice. If I have medical problems, I have a few doctor friends that I've cultivated over the years who are very, very good friends, and I talk to them about my health and what I need to do. I have a dietitian that I call if I think that I have someone who's quite good. One of my classmates is a personal trainer, a physical trainer, and whenever I feel that I feel a bit down, I need to do something about my body, then I talk to that person. It's funny. I've spent a lot of time cultivating relationships with people, so I never really have any problem because every problem that comes, I can pick the phone up and talk to someone. When one of my coaches came in and I kind of pseudo-diagnosed that person has depression, there's something else wrong with it. I call my friend, one of my good friends who is a psychiatrist, and I say, Doc, this is what's going on. What do you think? What should I tell this person? And he goes, I think that person has a problem. Refer them to me. I refer my coachee to him, and then he gets better, or he gets sorted out, or he gets some form of direction for himself. And I think to myself, I've spent the good part of the last, I'm going to be 50, the good part of the last 30 years just cultivating fantastic relationships with people that whenever I have a problem, I can pick the phone up and talk to someone. So I hardly look at things as a problem. Most of the time I look at it as an opportunity. So you're right. I have answered your question. Yeah, that's the deal, my friend. Yeah, really.
Okay, Shankar. Now, a couple of more questions before we wrap this up.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm gonna shorten it because I think you're already answering. With one question, you already answered 5. So
My problem.
thank
It's
you
always
so
been my
much.
problem.
No, that's amazing. I think that is what people want, right? That is what people want, a full-on perspective. It's not only a narrowed approach, but you're
Yeah.
going a wider range as well. Thank you so much for that. So now, Shankar, fun question.
Yep.
Fun question with you. But before we go to the fun question, I realized your way of speaking because I follow you. Hi, everyone. This is Shankar Santhiram here. You have
That's right.
that pause in between. I really like that. But now, moving on to the next question. You have an active life. You have a really hectic life. Yeah, I think from the company to the restaurant to the comedy club, and then after that, you also have so many things going on at the side with the radio station and newspaper as well. How do you find balance?
That's the balance. The fact that I do so many things. That's always been my balance. I get very imbalanced when I'm bored. Then I start fiddling around and starting to think about something and think about something else. And I find a very full life, a very balanced life. I am quite particular about my time. It's now in the evening. I was in my restaurant for a short while. I had a discussion with some of my team, and then I came back and I'm on air with you. And then after this, I will watch a little bit of Netflix because that'll help me. Tomorrow morning, I'll be up and I'm running a training program for the next 2 days with a client, and then I've got another day of doing my webinars, and then I'm running another training program that I'm flying off to Kedah for one of my clients on Sunday because they work on Sunday and I'll be there on Sunday and Monday. I come back next week. I have 4 or 5 days of coaching. In between all of that, I'm preparing new items for my restaurant. I surround myself with good people so I can come in, do a little bit, and go off. Like, I hardly go to the comedy club because my partner, Rizal Van Giesel, runs the place, and he together with his wife, Aline, they run the Crack House Comedy Club exceedingly well. There's really nothing I need to do. I go there for a bit of comic relief when I want to laugh as a stand-up comedian and I want some fun. So how do I strike balance? I do whatever I want to do. If I decide that I want to take a day off, I take a day off. If I decide that I want a morning off, I take a morning off. Last week on Friday, my mom and dad were here. And I had a bit of work, and I quickly spoke to my office and said, "Can you all just move all my appointments around?" And they said, "Why?" I said, "I want to hang out at home with my mom and dad." I did nothing. And I have this lady, Maninda, who runs an organization, a delivery service called Toddy on Demand. And they make really nice, they get really nice toddy. And I know my dad likes it. And I called her and I said, "Maninda, can you send me some toddy and some wild boar curry and some whatever else, duck or something like that?" And I sat with my dad and my mom and my wife, and we all just started drinking toddy at 11 o'clock in the morning. I think we were all quite inebriated by about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But the funny thing is, everybody else went to bed. I thought, okay, I'm going to have a swim now, and I'm going to the restaurant, I'm going to cook. So my mom and dad said, like, "Why are you always doing something?" Because I feel like I have the energy to do it. I think people need to understand that there will come a point when the body will give up. All your bodies will give up, will give in. Especially those of you who are in your 30s and 20s and 30s, who are probably your demographic, you think your life will go on forever. So and when you reach my age at 50, you know that it's a finite number of days that you're going to be alive and a finite number of days that you're going to be active before you have to give up some of the things that you do. So why not do everything that you want to do so that you don't regret? So I think if I fall ill or if I stop, I'd like to think this. I don't know if I will actually think it, but I'd like to prepare myself for that thought. Is that if I reach a point where I have to slow down because my body gives up or I have some physical ailments, I won't regret because I've pretty much done every damn thing I want to do. And I think that's how I think you should live, because that's how you should die. You should die happily, and you can only die happily if you live well.
Wow. Okay, now move on to a fun question.
That wasn't a fun question. I was talking about death and all sorts of things.
I know.
Sorry, there wasn't a temper. Okay. I was just trying to be.
I understand, and I completely understand, because it's an awakening when you say this, when you say these things. we are often asking ourselves questions like, okay, I work, I have family, and I don't have personal space, personal time.
What's
I need
personal
to
space?
find
Your family is your personal space. Your work is
exactly.
your personal
I
space. I mean,
mean,
what?
that's what
Stop
people say.
moaning.
That's what people say, right? So
And
they
I
are
say to
finding a
all these people,
balance.
stop moaning.
But what I like about your approach is you kept on saying that, hey, if by being at home I'm bored, I don't like that. That's depressing.
No, I
But when
mean,
I
also,
go,
no. I also said that when I want to be at home, I am at home. When I
yes,
decide that I want to turn off everything and put my phone aside, and I will go for about 5 or 6 days completely in incognito, and nobody can find me, and because I just want to chill out at home and lie in my couch and watch TV and sit by the pool and do nothing else. But I don't
but
regret doing those things. Also,
no, but
because I work.
it's like an awakening, right, Shankar? Because when you say these things, it's definitely an awakening to those who are watching and saying that, hey, you know what, you got to do what you got to do. You have to keep on pushing to the limits because you have to achieve what you want to achieve, and
And you
don't
should
complain.
understand, don't complain, and also understand when how much your body can take. I mean, if you find yourself falling ill regularly, then go in and I always think you either have, like Stephen Covey said this really really well in Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and I'm quoting him. You either have an expansive mind or a contracting mind. And for a lot of people, they spend all their time contracting their mind. You know what I mean? Everything is a problem. So somebody tells you to do something. Oh, I cannot do it. I got too much work. I got no time. I got a family. I got this. I got that. I got this. I just find, like he says, I find that people who are hugely successful, it's not like they rah-rah or falsely motivate themselves and say, oh, no, I can do everything, because that's also a lie. I will say things like, yeah, I'm busy. It is difficult, but you know what? I really want to do this, so I'll find another way of doing it. So I will tell myself things like, go to sleep a little bit earlier so you can get up earlier tomorrow morning and do something else. I will tell myself things like that. I'll tell myself, okay, you cannot eat so much this evening because then you'll be sluggish tomorrow morning, and you got a long day because you're starting training at 10 o'clock and you want to do this and do that. And it's pragmatism in your mind. And it's also creating expansion in your mind as opposed to contraction in your mind. And so if your viewers, the people who are watching this and saying, oh, how is it that he's able to do all these things? No, it's nothing special. I just have a different way of thinking. Not even a different way of thinking. It is a way of thinking that I've adopted. And if you want to be successful in doing so many different things, not successful in life, but in trying this and trying that, then you need perhaps to adopt that mindset. That's all.
And at the same time, this is an advertisement brought to you by EQTD Consulting. And if you want to find out how that particular way of basically having the entire A to Z of Shankar's secret, please click on the link below, because I will actually put all the links of Shankar's
Thank you.
company, and you can contact them. And I know that you're also doing some online workshops as well, and classes as well. So to those who are interested, all the links will be pasted right at the description, and you can follow it right after this. This is already like a really fast forward workshop to those who are watching.
Where's the fun question? I'm waiting for the fun questions, for heaven's sake. How long?
All right,
Taking a long time to get to these fun questions, man.
Fun question. I've actually shortened the fun questions. Probably only two. Yeah. Okay. So if you could choose one meal, one type of food, and eat that for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I cook myself. I don't want to boast, but I'm quite a good cook. So
just one meal.
Anything that I cook.
No. It's only one meal. It can be nasi lemak all the way.
No, for me it'll be like what I grew up with, which is rice dal, potato masala, and long beans, and a piece of fried fish. That's it. I can eat that every single day. A sambar or a tanisar with potato masala. And
I asked you one type
that's the meal.
Of food.
That's my meal.
You ordered a buffet.
That's my meal. That's what I eat. That's what I grew up eating.
Fair
you ask me listen, that's not fair, because you say nasi lemak, you're not eating nasi lemak, the nasi alone. What is nasi lemak? It's got the anchovies, it's got the egg, it's got the timun, it's got the sambal. So there are 5 different things on that plate.
Okay.
I'm telling you the same damn thing, for heaven's sake.
Move on to the next one.
You regret
one
asking the question now. Okay, fine.
one. If you were given one ability or superpower, which one would you choose?
Ooh, ah, influencing skills.
Wow, nice.
So, which means anybody talks to me about anything, they just believe me right away.
Right.
That,
Okay. One more. The next one. Okay. We got two more questions, and
Sure.
then after that we're done. Yeah. So, one word to describe your wife, Susanna.
Oh, crazy. Can I take that back? Can I take it back?
No, it's done.
She's gonna watch this. She's gonna watch this.
Moving on. I will purposely put on the description of the post, Susanna, watch after this particular minute. Thank you. All right.
Sorry, darling. Sorry. Just first thing that came to my mind. Sorry.
It's okay. My ex-boss was from Austria, so I understand.
Hey, I know the guy as well. That's right.
Andreas.
Yeah, that's right.
So now, final request, and then after that, I have a special surprise for you. The request will be very simple. That the viewers who are watching out there, what would be your message to them?
Add value in everything that you do. Remember value. Every single thing you do, think about how you can add value to other people. Be relevant. Add value to other people always.
Okay. Shankar, I could not have asked for a better guest rather than my own mentor. I think my mentor is here. I'm really happy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for doing this. Now, the surprise is very cool. This weekend, hopefully this weekend, if you're available, our food partner, Desi Tadka, will be sending you delicious Northern Indian food, which is inherited for 5 generations. And
thank you.
We'll be sending you this entire spread from roti to dal to chicken tikka masala. I do not know the full menu yet, but I will be hand delivering it to you as well.
That's very, very kind, and I thank you so much. And your partner, Desi, what do they call it? Desi Tarka. I've seen that. I've seen that on your post. I've been wanting to get their food. Thank you so much. And you know what? The one genre of food that I cannot not eat is Indian food. And whether it's South Indian or North Indian or just any Indian, I think, at the end of the day, I am an Indian boy. It comes down to that, I've got that in my genes already. So even if I miss it, even if I go and try the whole thing, I'd spend a lot of time. Every third or fourth day, I need to eat an Indian meal. Not as much as my wife, Susanna. She's more Indian than I am because she can eat Indian food every single meal.
I've been seeing it. But I would like to say thank you, Shankar. Thank you so much for gracing all of us with your presence, and your wisdom, and your beautiful insight on how you handle, your business. How do you handle your problems? How do you tackle difficult, times or moments in your life? I think everybody had a glimpse. I had a glimpse. Thank you so much, Shankar, and sending you positive vibes always.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
That was episode number 10. You have met one of my mentors, and I hope you agree with me that he inspires and he leaves a great impact in your lives, and you want to change the way you see things. Thank you, Shankar, giving you good vibes always. A big shout out to all my partners. Content by Be Strategic, digital artwork, DH Creation, food, Desi Tadka, video live streaming and production, Mosaic Productions. Until then, sending each and every one of you good vibes, positive energy, always. See you guys on the next episode. Bye-bye.